Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy is a video game collection with 4 titles from the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series. The collection includes Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst, and Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto. Today we will review some of the behind the scenes stories for Naruto Storm 1 to 3 that CyberConnect 2 detailed in the Japanese version of the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy website. The source will be in the description. Without further ado, let's begin. Storm 1. Naruto Storm is a 3D action fighting game first released on the PS3. Its predecessors were 2D ninja fighters that were all released on the PlayStation 2. The game follows Naruto and the story from the beginning all the way to the final arc between Naruto and Sasuke. You battle various characters from Part 1 Naruto against each other in free battle or enjoy the brand new addition to the story with Ultimate Mission Mode. To bring everything up to the standards of correctly representing the anime, Naruto Storm pushed the bar to create an authentic look and feel. It was a challenge to recreate the feeling of the anime. However, let's look at some of the fruits of labor with some unique, memorable scenes. Ninja art. When you think of Naruto's techniques, your mind goes straight to the shadow clone technique, right? When the attack hits the enemy, a collective of Naruto clones start beating up the enemy together to a pulp. The key word here is collective, and that's what we will discuss next. As it is a real-time scene rather than a simple movie, we must be wary of the limitations in how many models we can put into one screen simultaneously. Adding more and more models onto the scene will push the hardware's performance and likely cause slowdown. In this case, models placed further away from the camera will have a lower polygon count. These are models that aren't equipped with bones. Character models with more polygons are known as high models, and those with a low polygon count are low models, with the bones basically making the models move correctly. Red wireframe models have a higher count of polygons, blue wired models have a low polygon count, and green wireframe models have an extremely low polygon count. We wanted to create a satisfying final attack animation. What came to our mind was the Naruto rope from episode 133, A Plea from a Friend. Creating this in 3D was an immense task. Next we have Neji. To recreate Neji's fluid movements was quite a difficult task. I had to look at the beautiful godlike original animation, reviewing it daily, thinking, how are we going to replicate this in 3D? We didn't want it to move as rigid as CG tends to do. We needed a sense of liveliness behind the model's movements. Therefore, a lot of trial and error, we managed to recreate the attack via a hybrid of CG and drawings done by hand. Monster Blur is a specific tool we have used within the Storm series for the longest time to help recreate fluid movements. It was created to replicate the anime scenes requiring dynamic and explosive movements proudly. Interactive action. To adequately demonstrate the heated battles within Part 1, found explicitly in Ultimate Mission Mode's boss battles, we created a term called interactive action, shortened to IA, which we aim to always get players fully immersed in the game. To do this, we added multiple button presses that would allow your character to attack and avoid attacks to get you fully involved in these boss battle scenes. There's a lot to unpack with the battle against Shikaku. To create the scenes below, Naruto's body is inhumanely twisted, and his arms are stretched out. Following that, we had to ensure that Naruto's face didn't look out of place when looking directly from the side. Making this was pure hard work, even with working alongside 3D CG. Here in these images, they stretched out Naruto's arms, making sure that Naruto doesn't look out of place from the side. They scaled the bones, stretched the arms, and twist Naruto's lower body. Faces were altered to fit the impact of Naruto's headbutt. With much hard work and applying various techniques, we managed to create a game that looks and feels like you're interacting with the original story itself. Naruto Storm upgraded with the Naruto Storm trilogy. As the trilogy is being released on the PS4, we need to power up the original PS3 version. First, we updated the resolution from 720p to 1020p, and then added anti-aliasing to make the screen clearer. Also, the texture effects are increased fourfold for the game to look much more natural in a new resolution setting. Storm 2. The sequel to the original Naruto Storm is where the player will jump into the Ultimate Adventure mode and enjoy the start of the Shippuden story until the battle against Pain. There were many challenges this time around. Luckily enough, the animators of the Naruto anime studio Period helped evolve the boss battles with a specific new 2.5D artistic touch. Many characters joined the playable roster, from the 4th Hokage, Minato, to the members of the Akatsuki. Also, this game was the first to offer online multiplayer. Brand new motions breathed life into each character. Let's jump into the character's motions and facial expressions within the event scenes and battles in Storm 2. Look at specific scenes, developmental process within Ultimate Adventure Mode. In the scene, Naruto finishes training with Jiraiya and returns to the Leaf Village. When Naruto says, "Nothing's changed at all," it isn't simply a render of his mouth moving up and down. Our motion artist will use facial motion to ensure that the mouth will move ideally alongside the words spoken. Mouth movements are studied and created to make speech more natural within Storm 2. It was a challenging feat, constantly repeating the phrase and designing the movement per syllable to ensure mouth movements were perfect seemed like a dream. We hope players, for the first time, are looking forward to the journey ahead in Ultimate Adventure, although some of those in charge of designing the scenes won't be able to talk about it without bursting into tears. Here's a clip of Deidara's angry facial motion in the fight between Deidara and Sasuke. The quality differs due to a more significant facial movement, which you can see. The following video is about Jiraiya in the Jiraiya vs. Pain fight. Initially, we scheduled the boss battle to play out like a standard free battle. However, the decision was made to show much more importance and the force behind the desperate struggle between Jiraiya and his former student. Therefore, we created some specific motions for Jiraiya in the primary mode. It was a sudden change that wasn't originally scheduled, so it put pressure on us to get it out, but the team pulled together and created scenes that made us understand Jiraiya's resolution. As we are nearing the end, I wanted to talk about the event of the final battle of Ultimate Adventure Mode, Naruto vs. Pain. During the fight, Hinata jumps in to defend Naruto and takes an attack meant for him. Due to this, Naruto transforms into his Kyuubi form, well, Six Tails form. In this scene, players get to take control of the Six Tails form of Naruto's Kyuubi mode, and oh boy, was it a chore to create the motion for this character. Check out the skeletal object covering the body of the Kyuubi. As it merely covers the body, it is not 100% connected to it. We needed to ensure that it had independent movements. To set this up, we needed to create two characters within one model, which is challenging. Yet, it was remarkably created with all the teams. There are many more scenes that I wish to talk about. For now, I hope this is enough. We've added many upgrades to the trilogy version of each game, making those games from the PS3 era look shinier and more dramatic. Storm 3. Looking back at Naruto Storm 3 and the 4th Ninja War, it's filled with many lively and heartwarming scenes remade in game form. The third game in the Storm series, you run through the Ultimate Adventure Mode and experience parts of the Shippuden story, including the 4th grade Ninja War. A brand new component called the Ultimate Choice allowed players to make choices within boss battles. Players will also enjoy some of the special DLC called Storm 3 Full Burst, which adds a brand new experience for event scenes. This includes the story's fragmented chapter / true story of the Uchiha brothers, increasing the Storm 3 gameplay to the max. First, I want to show you a special Storm 3 video clip regarding the camera's positions of characters. These visual points, or intervals, are one of the many components we use in scenes. The scene will be ruined if we do not fine-tune and correctly place these intervals. In the video, we have intervals at play. The clip features the very start of the story in Ultimate Adventure, where Minato is talking to Kushina from Kushina's perspective. We needed to carefully listen to the script repeatedly until we had the correct timing to place these intervals. The staff member in charge will continue to fix these until they flow correctly. Another staff member will be called in to check and confirm if anything needs additional edits. This is always a difficult task for those in charge. However, everything is done to make sure the players get sucked into and enjoy the event scene. Next are the event scenes. As a mode, Ultimate Adventure is long and has many scenes throughout, for which we have recorded motion capture data for. Considering Storm 3 is the first game in the series to use motion capture, we needed to record a massive amount of capture data to get the best movements in every scene over the whole mode. Allow me to go on a little tangent and talk about the unique visuals of Mifune's ninja art. The Storm series has many unique looking ninja arts, however with Mifune's we wanted to add a Japanese aesthetic to his art. We add post effects to create a monotone filter over the camera and then apply a texture that places ink-like shadows on Mifune's face. Finally, I want to discuss the chapter featuring Storm 3's special DLC pack. In this story's boss battle, Itachi uses his Genjutsu technique Izanami. To show that Izanami has been activated, an effect is added to the following voice scene to show that the effects of Izanami are now in play. Not only that, but a visual cue has been applied with the wavy effect across the scene to show that Kabuto has been affected by the Genjutsu. In another scene where Kabuto cannot break out of Izanami, the wavy effect is made more prominent and more frequent to a state where Kabuto is still under the effects of Itachi's attack. Speaking of Izanami, when creating this scene and ensuring everything works correctly with every effect timed perfectly and having to repeat some of the same steps, I felt like I was under the effects of Itachi's Genjutsu. I wish I could show you many more scenes, but this is all I have today. I don't think there's a single person who could play this special Uchiha Brothers chapter without shedding a tear. Last but not least, the office memories from the days of creating the Naruto Storm series. Today I want to talk about the memories of the office during the developmental process of the Storm games. In the office where Naruto games were created, we had the anime playing on screens and volumes of the manga lined up on shelves. These were the most helpful pieces of research for the development team, not just for one or for the other, but for looking at how the scenes looked like in the manga and how it managed to be in animated form, or how the layout looked so cool. Due to this work atmosphere, the office was much more cheery than your average office. Although it was indeed a lively office, there was a bizarre occurrence during the development of Storm 2 where many teens barely spoke. One day we had staff members do checks on a particular event scene, so those involved were very stern with quick comments such as, quote, "I think it would be a lot more exciting like this," end quote, or, quote, "Let's put more force into the character's arm movement when they swing their arm," end quote. The scene in question is during Jiraiya's last stand. Even when the checks were complete, the teens were silent, the memory of the scene still lingering in their minds. Some of them even shed a tear or two. After the checks, the next dilemma was how we would show Jiraiya himself, his resolution, and how we would create and relay the sadness from the scenes in our game. Here's a video of the unforgivable pain getting beaten down by Jiraiya. Whatever happens, Jiraiya seems to always get caught in a pinch. Next, we get to play. We use all of Jiraiya's captured data in the boss battle, which is why as Jiraiya takes damage, his movements change with many varying motions. Finally, when Jiraiya's at his limit, the screen begins to blur to show the screen as if we saw what Jiraiya saw in this predicament. Even in the pits of despair, suddenly a glint. Jiraiya's movements and expressions in this scene took much labor to assemble. Even though it looks entirely drawn by hand, the models have line textures placed on them. Now you understand the reason why our team didn't speak so much at the time. This is just a scene I have brought up today, but explain that the same passion drives the team to make every scene look and sound like you're experiencing the Naruto story within your own eyes. With this knowledge, the next time you watch these scenes, we hope you can pick out the various development techniques used in the game scenes. Alright, this is Shonen Games, signing out, see you next video.